Forget everything you think you know about the United Kingdom. Beyond the bustling streets of London, past the industrial cities, hidden in the countryside, there exist villages so beautiful, so perfectly preserved, they feel like stepping into a fairy tale. Places where time moves slower. Where thatched roofs have sheltered families for 500 years. Where the loudest sound is birdsong and the river flowing through ancient stone bridges. Today, I'm taking you to 15 of the most breathtaking villages in the UK. Places most tourists never see. Villages that look like they were painted by artists, not built by humans. This is the Britain you've been searching for. Village 1 Bibury, Gloucestershire. William Morris, the famous artist and writer, once called Bibury the most beautiful village in England. And when you see it, you understand why. The star attraction is Arlington Row, a line of weavers' cottages built in the 1300s. Yes, you heard that right. The 1300s. These buildings have stood here for nearly 700 years. The cottages are made from Cotswold stone, which has this unique honey-gold color that seems to glow in the sunlight. The stone walls are covered in climbing roses and wisteria. Each cottage has a small garden bursting with flowers. In front of the cottages runs the River Colne, so clear you can see trout swimming in it. The water is pure enough that locals still fish here. Ducks waddle along the banks. Weeping willows dip their branches into the water. This is the England you see on postcards. Except it's real. The village has a population of just 600 people. There's one pub, one tea room, and one small shop. That's it. And that's exactly how the residents like it. Travel tip: visit early morning or late afternoon to avoid crowds. Arlington Row faces northeast, so the best light for photos is in the morning. Village 2 Castle Combe, Wiltshire. Castle Combe has won Britain's Prettiest Village award multiple times. And once you arrive, you'll see it's not an exaggeration. Here's what makes it special: there are no television aerials. No satellite dishes. No telephone poles or power lines. Everything is buried underground to preserve the medieval appearance. The village sits in a hidden valley, completely surrounded by woodland. One main street runs through it, lined with Cotswold stone cottages, some dating back to the 1400s. A babbling brook runs alongside the road, crossed by an ancient stone bridge. At the center stands the market cross, built in the 15th century, where villagers once sold their goods. The Church of St. Andrew has one of the finest towers in Wiltshire, visible from miles away. This village is so picture-perfect that it's been used as a filming location for movies like War Horse and Stardust. Directors love it because it needs zero modification. It already looks like it's from another century. Population: only 350 residents. There's one pub, the White Hart Inn, serving traditional British food in a 500-year-old building. Fun fact: no new houses have been built here since the 1960s. Everything is protected by heritage laws. Village 3, Bourton-on-the-Water, Gloucestershire. They call this the Venice of the Cotswolds, and you'll see why immediately. The River Windrush flows right through the center of the village, crystal clear and shallow enough that children wade in it safely. 5 low stone bridges cross the river, each one built centuries ago. On a warm summer day, families sit on the grassy banks with their feet in the water. Ducks paddle between the bridges. The golden Cotswold stone buildings reflect perfectly in the river. It's like a living postcard. But here's what makes Bourton-on-the-Water unique among Cotswold villages: it's actually set up for visitors. Most villages this beautiful try to discourage tourism. Not Bourton. There are tea rooms, restaurants, ice cream shops, and even quirky attractions like the Model Village, a perfect 1/9 scale replica of Bourton itself, built in 1937. Population: about 3,500 people, making it more of a small town than a village. Best time to visit: early morning before the crowds, or autumn when the trees along the river turn golden and red. The village has been inhabited since Neolithic times. The Romans built a settlement here. So people have been saying, "This is beautiful, let's live here," for literally thousands of years. Village 4 Lower Slaughter, Gloucestershire. Don't let the name fool you. Slaughter comes from the Old English word slaughter, meaning muddy place. There's nothing muddy or scary about this village. It's pure perfection. With a population of just 200, Lower Slaughter feels more like a private estate than a village. The ice stream flows gently through the center, with footpaths on both sides lined with immaculate stone cottages. There's almost no traffic. Most residents walk or cycle. The only sounds are water, birds, and occasionally a vintage car driving carefully through. The old mill, built in the 1800s, still has its original water wheel and now houses a museum and tea room. The mill stream is so clear you can see every pebble on the bottom. What makes it special? This is one of the least commercialized beautiful villages in England. There are no gift shops, no tourist attractions, barely any parking. It's a real community that just happens to be extraordinarily beautiful. Village 5, Haworth, West Yorkshire. Haworth clings to a hillside in West Yorkshire, a village of steep cobbled streets and dark stone houses that look like they grew from the moors themselves. This is Bronte country. Charlotte, Emily, and Anne Bronte lived here in the parsonage, and the wild Yorkshire landscape inspired some of literature's greatest novels, Jane Eyre, Wuthering Heights. The main street is so steep that the cobblestones are set vertically to help horses' hooves grip. Today, it's lined with bookshops, tea rooms, and antique stores housed in buildings from the 1700s and 1800s. Walk beyond the village, and you're on the moors, vast, windswept, hauntingly beautiful. Miles of heather-covered hills, stone walls disappearing into mist, scattered farmhouses. This is the landscape Emily Bronte described in Wuthering Heights. Population, about 6,400 in the wider area, but the historic village center is tiny. Don't miss the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway, a preserved heritage railway with steam trains running through the valley. The station was used in the film The Railway Children. Best season, autumn, when the moors turn purple with heather, or winter when everything is moody and atmospheric, very Bronte. Village 6, Robin Hood's Bay, North Yorkshire. This fishing village clings to the cliffs of the North Yorkshire coast like it's defying gravity. Houses cascade down the hillside in a jumble of red roofs and white walls, connected by narrow alleys and steep staircases. The alleys are so narrow that in many places, you can touch both walls at the same time. These weren't designed for tourists, they were designed for smugglers. In the 1700s and 1800s, Robin Hood's Bay was infamous for smuggling. The village is like a maze, with secret passages connecting houses, hidden cellars, and escape routes. Smugglers would pass contraband from house to house without ever going outside. The name? Nobody knows for certain. Legend says Robin Hood came here to escape pursuers, but historians doubt it. The first recorded name was Bay Town in the 1500s. At high tide, waves crash against the seawall, and spray reaches the lowest houses. At low tide, the beach reveals itself, golden sand, rock pools teeming with crabs and starfish, and fossils. This coast is famous for Jurassic period fossils, especially ammonites. Population, only about 900 permanent residents. Photographers tip, shoot from the beach at low tide looking up at the village, or from the clifftop road at sunset. Warning, at high tide, the beach completely disappears underwater. Check tide times before visiting. Village 7, Grassington, North Yorkshire. In the heart of the Yorkshire Dales National Park sits Grassington, a market town that feels like a village, with its cobbled square and stone buildings clustered around narrow lanes. The village square is perfectly Georgian, symmetrical, orderly, beautiful. But step into the back lanes, and you find much older cottages from the 1600s, built when Grassington was a lead mining center. What makes Grassington special is its location. In every direction, you see the dales, rolling hills, stone walls creating geometric patterns across green fields, limestone cliffs, scattered barns, sheep everywhere. The River Wharfe flows nearby, with walking paths leading to Linton Falls, a beautiful waterfall just a mile from the village. The water crashes over limestone steps into turquoise pools. Population, around 1,100 people. Best for hikers. Grassington is the perfect base for exploring the Dales. Dozens of trails start from the village, ranging from easy riverside walks to challenging fell climbs. Cultural note, the village has been used for filming the TV series All Creatures Great and Small, both the original and the recent remake. It perfectly captures that Yorkshire Dales atmosphere. Village 8, Clovelly, Devon. Imagine a village where cars have been banned since before cars were invented. Clovelly clings to a 400-foot cliff on the North Devon coast, and the only street is so steep that cars are physically impossible. One cobbled street, called Up Along and Down Along by locals, descends from the top of the village to the harbor at the bottom. It drops 400 feet in about half a mile. That's incredibly steep. The street is paved with smooth round pebbles, polished by centuries of use. Whitewashed cottages line both sides, each one built into the hillside at a different level. Flowers cascade from window boxes. Cats sleep on doorsteps. How do they get supplies? Donkeys and sleds. Seriously. Goods are transported the traditional way, or on special sledges that slide down the cobbles. Residents have to carry everything by hand or use these sleds. At the bottom is a tiny harbor, built in the 1300s, where fishing boats bob in the water. Population, only about 400 people live here year-round. Practical info, you pay an entrance fee to visit, around £8 to £10, which helps maintain the village. At the bottom, there's a Land Rover taxi that brings you back up for a small fee, because climbing back up is exhausting. Village 9, Rye, East Sussex. Rye is technically a small town, not a village, but it's too beautiful to exclude. This medieval hilltop settlement looks like it was frozen in time around the year 1400. Mermaid Street is one of England's most photographed streets, cobbled, steep, lined with timber-framed buildings that lean at impossible angles. Some of these houses are so old and crooked that no two floors are level. Rye was once a major port, one of the cinque ports that defended England's coast. But over centuries, the sea retreated, leaving Rye 2 miles inland. Now it sits on a hill surrounded by the flat expanse of Romney Marsh. The streets have wonderful names: the Mint, Watchbell Street, Church Square. Many buildings date from the 1300s and 1400s. The Mermaid Inn, still operating as a hotel and pub, was built in 1156 and was a favorite haunt of smugglers. What to do? Explore on foot. Get lost in the maze of lanes. Visit independent bookshops and antique stores. Climb the church tower for panoramic views. Population, about 4,700 in the town, but the historic center is compact. Writer's Village, E.F. Benson set his Map and Lucia novels here. Henry James lived in Lamb House, now owned by the National Trust. Village 10, Lavenham, Suffolk. In the 1400s, Lavenham was one of England's wealthiest towns thanks to the wool trade. The medieval merchants built stunning timber-framed houses to show off their wealth. Then the wool trade collapsed, the town became poor, and couldn't afford to modernize. Their poverty became our treasure. Because Lavenham couldn't afford to demolish and rebuild, over 300 medieval buildings survived virtually unchanged. The result is the best-preserved medieval village in England. Walking through Lavenham is like being on a movie set, except everything is real and genuinely 500 to 600 years old. The buildings are spectacular, timber frames painted in soft pinks, blues, yellows, and whites. Many lean at crazy angles because the oak timbers have warped over centuries. Upper floors jut out over lower floors, a medieval design that maximized space. Highlight, the crooked house on the market square, which leans so dramatically it looks photoshopped. It's been standing like that for 600 years. The Guildhall, built in 1530, dominates the market square. Its timber frame is so perfectly preserved it's used for studying medieval construction techniques. Population, around 1,800 people. Film location, used in Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows as Godric's Hollow, where Harry's parents lived. Village 12, Corfe Castle, Dorset. There's no mistaking Corfe Castle Village. Because towering above it, dominating every view, is one of England's most dramatic castle ruins. The castle was built by William the Conqueror in the 1000s. For centuries it was a royal fortress. During the English Civil War in the 1640s, it was besieged, captured, and deliberately destroyed by parliamentary forces who blew it up with gunpowder. The ruins still stand on their hilltop, shattered towers, broken walls, creating a jagged silhouette against the sky that's been painted by countless artists. Below the castle, the village is a cluster of grey stone cottages made from local Purbeck limestone. The streets are medieval, winding and narrow. The National Trust owns most of the village, protecting it from modern development. Population, about 1,400 people. Experience, ride the Swanage Railway, a heritage steam railway that runs through the village with the castle ruins as a spectacular backdrop. Photographer's dream, The castle ruins from any angle, but especially at sunrise when mist fills the valley, or sunset when the stone glows golden. The village has 4 pubs, all serving local Dorset food and Alesh, all with views of the castle. Village 13, Portmeirion, Wales. Portmeirion breaks all the rules. It's not ancient. It's not traditional. It's not even British in style. And yet it's one of the most magical places in the UK. This entire village was created between 1925 and 1975 by Welsh architect Sir Clough Williams-Ellis. His vision? To prove that you could develop a beautiful site without destroying its natural beauty. And to indulge his love of Italian coastal villages. The result is surreal. An Italian-style village on the Welsh coast, with pastel-colored buildings, a central piazza, a bell tower, a dome, arches, and a campanile, all set against the backdrop of Welsh mountains and the Dwyryd estuary. Buildings are painted in pinks, yellows, blues, and greens. Every corner reveals something unexpected: a hidden courtyard, a fountain, a colonnade, a sculpture. Williams-Ellis rescued architectural elements from buildings being demolished across Britain and incorporated them into Portmeirion. That column came from a Bristol building. That doorway from a demolished mansion. It's architecture as collage. Population, it's not a real village. It's a hotel complex and tourist attraction with about 20 permanent residents. Famous for, the 1960s TV series The Prisoner was filmed here, making it a pilgrimage site for fans. Best time, spring or autumn, midweek, when it's less crowded and you can imagine you've discovered a secret Italian village somehow transported to Wales. Village 14, Tobermory, Isle of Mull, Scotland. On the Isle of Mull, off Scotland's west coast, sits Tobermory, a row of brightly painted buildings facing a perfect natural harbor. The buildings are painted in vivid colors: bright red, sunshine yellow, electric blue, vibrant pink, lime green. They line the harbor like a rainbow, reflected in the calm water. Behind them, green hills rise toward the Scottish Highlands. This is quintessential Scottish coastal charm. Fishing boats bob in the harbor alongside yachts. Seals pop their heads above water. Sea eagles circle overhead. On lucky days, dolphins are spotted in the bay. Tobermory is the main town on Mull, with a population of just 1,000. But it has everything you need: shops, restaurants serving fresh seafood, pubs, even a whiskey distillery. History: the town was founded in the 1780s as a fishing port. The colorful buildings came later, painted bright colors to help fishermen identify their homes from the sea and fog. Famous for being the setting for Balamory, a children's TV show, which increased tourism significantly. How to get there: ferry from Oban on the mainland, a 45-minute crossing through spectacular scenery. Best experience: stay overnight. Watch sunset over the harbor, have dinner in a seafood restaurant, wake to seabirds calling. Daytrippers miss the magic of evening and early morning. Village 15, Plockton, Scotland. Here's something you don't expect in Scotland: palm trees. Plockton sits on Loch Carron on Scotland's northwest coast, sheltered by mountains and warmed by the Gulf Stream. The result is an almost subtropical microclimate where palm trees and exotic plants grow alongside traditional Scottish Highland scenery. On one side, palm trees, colorful gardens, mild temperatures. On the other side, rugged Scottish mountains, lochs, Highland cattle. It's like two worlds colliding. The village is tiny, one main street of stone cottages facing the water. Boats moored in the harbor. Mountains rising beyond. Seals swimming in the loch, so close you can hear them calling. Population, only about 400 people. What to do? Nothing, and that's the point. Plockton is about peace. Sitting by the water. Watching seals. Walking along the shore. Eating fresh seafood in the Plockton Hotel. Slowing down. Wildlife: the loch is part of a special area of conservation. Otters, seals, porpoises, occasionally basking sharks and whales. Film location: used in the movie The Wicker Man and TV series Hamish Macbeth. How to get there: it's remote. Drive from Inverness, about 2 hours, or take the scenic Kyle Railway Line, one of Britain's most beautiful train journeys. Travel tips: 15 villages, each one unique, each one beautiful in its own way. From the honeystone cottages of the Cotswolds to the colorful harbors of Scotland. From medieval timber frames to ancient stone circles. From dramatic cliffside villages to peaceful riverside hamlets. This is the Britain most people never see. No crowds like London. No rush like Manchester. Just timeless beauty, preserved communities, and a slower pace of life. How to visit these villages. Let me give you practical advice for visiting these places. Best time to visit. Spring, April-May, flowers blooming, lambs in fields, mild weather, fewer tourists. Early autumn, September-October, beautiful colors, harvest season, still warm, great light for photography. Avoid peak summer, July-August, if possible, crowds, high prices, difficult parking. Winter has its charm, villages look magical in snow, very quiet, but many places have reduced hours. Getting around. Rent a car. Seriously. Public transport exists, but these villages are rural and remote. Having a car gives you freedom to explore at your own pace and visit multiple villages in a day. Drive on the left. Remember this if you're not from the UK. Country roads are narrow. Single-track roads are common. Pull into passing places when meeting oncoming traffic. Where to stay? Bed and breakfasts, B&Bs, the classic British experience. Usually £60 to £100 per night, includes breakfast, run by locals who know the area. Country pubs with rooms, character, good food, local atmosphere. National Trust cottages, if staying longer, rent entire cottages in these villages. Budget. UK countryside isn't cheap, but it's cheaper than London. Expect £100 to £150 per day per person including accommodation, food, and petrol. Many villages charge parking fees, £3 to £8 per day. Some villages like Clovelly charge entrance fees. Etiquette. These are real communities, not theme parks. Be respectful. Don't block driveways or narrow streets with your car. Ask before photographing people. Support local businesses, eat in village pubs, buy from village shops. Stay on footpaths when walking through farmland. Close gates behind you. Photography. Golden hour, early morning/late afternoon, is magical. Overcast days can be beautiful, soft light, dramatic skies. Bring a rain jacket, British weather is unpredictable. What to pack? Waterproof jacket, essential, even in summer. Comfortable walking shoes, cobblestones and country paths. Layers, weather changes quickly. Camera with good battery life, you'll take hundreds of photos. These villages aren't just pretty places to photograph. They're living history. They're communities that have endured for centuries, sometimes over 1,000 years. Every stone cottage represents generations of families. Every church has witnessed centuries of births, marriages, deaths. Every pub has heard countless stories. In our modern world of constant change, these villages remind us that some things can last. That beauty doesn't have to be sacrificed for progress. That slow can be good. But they're fragile. Over-tourism threatens them. Rising property prices push local families out. Climate change affects them. They need protection, and that means responsible tourism. Visit these places. Spend money in local businesses. Respect the communities. Follow the rules. And share their beauty in a way that encourages others to do the same. My final challenge to you. Turn off the GPS occasionally. Get lost on a country road. Stop in a village you've never heard of. Have tea in a local cafe. Talk to residents. Ask them about their village's history. The 15 villages I've shown you are just the beginning. Britain has hundreds more, each with its own character, its own story, its own beauty. So pack a bag. Rent a car. Leave the cities behind. And discover the Britain that exists in timeless villages, ancient stones, rolling hills, and communities that welcome strangers like old friends. This is the journey that changes you. Not because of what you see, but because of how it makes you feel. The most beautiful villages in the United Kingdom are waiting. Safe travels, friends.